to the cloud. All right, guys, happy freaking New Year 2024. You guys, listen, I'm not coming to you full of excitement, full of gratitude. This is just the way that I am. So you will notice some things different in coaching, some of the style of things that we're going to be doing, talking about some of the topics, obviously, that will change. But you guys, I choose this shit. I choose this state. I choose this excitement. It's not that, ooh, I needed a new year to feel stoked about my life and about my business, and about my family, about my aspirations. No, this is my state. This is what I demand of myself, and I put myself in a peak state. And if I'm going to require and ask that you guys push yourself and have you guys be in your optimal state, well, how the heck can I allow myself to not raise my bar constantly? Because then I would be a phony, I would be a false, and I would be a hypocrite. So I'm not going to be hypocritical. If I'm going to ask you guys to do something, I'm going to push myself to do the same. If I'm going to tell you to be on video, create video, then I'm going to do that for myself. If I'm going to ask you to do the hard things, I promise you, I have gone through those waters, or I will go through those waters with you. And if you need a homie, if you need a friend, if you need a partner, say, listen, I'm a little fearful. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to create. I don't know how to get on the phone and say the things that you say, or how you would say it, or how Vernon would say it, or how Patrick would say it. Listen, you book a calendar time with me, and I promise you this, I'll give you my word. Let's meet in the office. Like, I'll give you an example. Aaron Chris yesterday, he said, hey, I don't know how to do some things on Instagram. Cool. Let's meet in the office, and I'll show you how to do some very simple things. Listen, no excuses. If you guys want the help, ask for help, reach out, and I'll be there, and I'll meet you halfway. But I'm going to ask you guys to do this. Show up, push yourself, and allow yourself to do more in 2024 than you've ever done, you guys. So that's my sentiment. Happy New Year to everyone. Great to see all your smiling, beautiful faces today. So let's go ahead and just kick this thing off. We're in the new year. I'm going to look around the screen. I got a lot of faces on here. I love how you guys are showing up on this beautiful, beautiful early morning. Let's go. I'm going to go over to who's going to be my person in the morning. All right, Damian, Big Dog, I'm going to have you bring us out on the field. And if you've never been here for Keep It Moving group coaching, I have someone bring us out on the field. This is their sentiment. This is us going into battle. This is us coming out of the tunnel out on game day. So I'm going to turn it over to Damian. Damian, hit him with it. Big Dog, what do we have for us this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. Hold on, baby. 1 second. You want to tell them with me? You want to say, hey, hey, hey? Hey, hey, hey. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Nothing works until you do. Nothing works unless you do. So work until it works, everybody. Be enthused about the work that you have impending. Be enthused about the promise that you have. And just go for it. Just go for it. Why not? What do you have to lose other than time that you can't get back? That's a real question. That's a real question. What do you have to lose other than time that you can't get back? So put in the effort for yourself, for your dreams, for your goals, for your family, and just work until it works. We love y'all.
Ooh, I love it. And you know what? I love how the girls have been a part of your journey on social. Like I mean, hey, bro, you're a good looking man, but them on camera, they've just taken the crown, and
they do more numbers than I do. I was like, okay, I don't need to be in this anymore.
That's right, Big Dog. Well, it's good to see you. It's good to see them. So let's get right into this. You guys, I think over the last couple of years, there's been a few words that have stood out to me. One of the words that I never enjoyed and didn't like hearing, because so many people said this word, and you've heard me say this before, it was pivot, right? I think like last year, it was back to the basics. I think that in 2024, if I'm going to choose a word, my word's going to be amplify. And I look at it this way. In order for us to truly succeed in 2024, I believe that it falls into the word amplify, amplifying our skills, amplifying our negotiation, amplifying our presence on social media, amplifying our networking skills, amplifying the way that we follow up, using our database, using our CRM, all these things. So I think that in 2024, if I have a word, it's going to be amplify. Amplify the amount of times I'm going to go to the gym, amplify my workouts, amplify my intensity. Because all of us, or most of us, go to the gym or we do some type of exercise, but if you're doing the same exercises, what you'll find is that you'll find yourself starting to plateau. You're like, it's easy. I'm no longer sore anymore, until you hit that 10 mile, like Ashley's doing, that 25 mile. Well, shit, I can do 30 miles, right? Like we did a 10-mile hike on New Year's Eve, 10.63. My legs are sore. I don't typically do those types of workouts, but I'm sore. And so then I went back the next day and got even more sore. So the thought and the sentiment of 2024 for me is amplify. You guys all have your words. You guys all have your sentiments. So if you can, just drop this. I know that we've done this before, but a lot of people weren't on that call. I want you guys to drop down in the chat below what your word for this year is going to be and how that's going to define you, whether it's presence, whether it's amplify, whether it is diversification of funds, right? Like all kinds of different things you're probably thinking about right now. I want you guys to drop your word down below in the chat. So manifest, systems, expansion, breaking the rule, 2 words, genius zone, intentional statement. Ooh, I love this. Move. Okay, cool. Empowerment, all in. I love this, you guys. Keep that coming. Here's the thing. As we go into 2024, you're either going to have a year of regrets, excuses, or you're going to have a year of triumphs and accomplishments. That's something that you can control. We can't control the market conditions, although we can't control that. But what you can control is your output. That's the one thing that you guys have full control over. So stop trying to control the things that are not within our realm and start working here. When you work here, when you focus here, when you're brutally honest with yourself and you take ruthless accountability for the things that you need to do in this life, in this business, then you could take ownership, then you could get better. But if you live and, ooh, it wasn't me, or, oh, it was the market, or, oh, it was this. At the end of the day, Otis is still out showing cars with the freaking boot on his foot. So at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's up to you to make this happen and make sure that this year is the year that you will truly, truly create wealth for you and your family. You guys, I want to share something with you. You've been seeing this. I don't know if you've seen this ins and outs, but if you didn't see this ins and outs, I did my own iteration of ins and outs, and you guys can do your own, and I want you guys to do your own. So let's get right into this, and feel free to take pictures of this. I will be creating a reel on based on my ins and outs, but let's just get right into this. So in 2024, I believe in being influential versus being an influencer. Right, a lot of us, obviously, we want to build our social media presence. We want to become known. We want to hit big stages. But at the end of the day, if the core root of what you're trying to accomplish is just being influential, then the byproduct of that is that you can essentially become an influencer. I'm not trying to become an influencer. Is it nice to get the accolades and to get the hype? It totally is. But at the end of the day, all I want to focus on is being influential and helping people find their optimal selves when it's hard for them to see their optimal selves. Efficient versus busy being busy. A lot of people fill their calendar with a bunch of shit, or they run around, or they feel like they're doing a bunch of stuff. But when you actually look at their priority list, the things that are going to move their life and business forward, they're not hitting those things. So this year, this is my focus, but I also want you guys to focus on this, is being efficient versus just being busy with your time. Content versus chaotic. How many times how many people in 2024 felt like they were running very, very chaotically, right? It's like, oh my God, I got all these things going on. I'm like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm running chaotically. What I want for everybody is I want a feeling of you guys being whelmed, meaning I am content, I'm peaceful, I can think clearly, I can see things differently, I have time to digest, I have time to dissect, I have time to reflect, all those things. That's living in a state of content. Living in a state of chaos means that I'm always on the go. Oh my God, you ever talk to that person? It's like they can't get it all together. It's just like frantic even being in their presence. I want content for you guys versus chaotic. Manage energy versus becoming burnt out. By show of hands, how many people hit maybe a wall in 2023? They felt like they were getting burnt out. And you see, this is something that you guys have to be very mindful of in 2024. How you manage your energy means how you manage your choices, right? I'm not allowing people to steal my energy because that's the most precious thing that I actually have. And so instead of me getting burnt out and hitting, midsummer or early summer, I'm like, oh my God, I feel burnt out. Now I want to manage my choices so I can manage my energy. That way I protect myself from ever becoming burnt out, because I deserve more than that. My family deserves more than that. The last thing I want to do is come home to my wife and I'm so burnt out that I take it out on her because I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm not managing my choices and my energy. Therefore, my family and the people that need it the most get the worst version of Elias. I'm not okay with that. Travel versus someday I'll go. You guys, the United States of America is the worst travel country in the world. And being able to travel in 2023, it opened my mind up to new possibilities, new opportunities, places that I want to go. I'm watching the Amazing Race, and it's opened me up to all these places that I want to put on my bucket list. So in 2024, as you guys are grinding, as you guys are working, as you guys are building, I want you to allow yourself that time to go and travel. Now, I'm not saying you have to go somewhere far. Maybe it's a 3-day, 2-night to, Santa Barbara. I don't know what that looks like, but instead of putting that off, make sure that that's a priority. Say there's 2 experiences or 2 trips that I'm going to take in 2023 just to get away. Because imagine how you feel when you're there, the experiences that you have, the memories that your kids are going to have that they'll talk about forever and ever and ever, and they'll always remember that. So stop telling yourself someday I'll go. You guys, I'm going to be real with you right now. My mom's in the hospital. My mom's been in the hospital since New Year's Eve with COVID pneumonia, and they did blood treatment on her, and they found gases in her blood that are creating carbon monoxide. So it's making her super, super sick. So my poor mom has been in the emergency room since New Year's Eve, and she just called me last night and said, "Mijo, I just miss you. I just wanted to hear your voice." And you know what she told me? She's like, "God, when are we going on our next vacation?" In the last 3 years, I was able to take my mom on 2 vacations. I rented out a vineyard once, and then once I took her down to Big Bear, and we rented this huge house. And I'm not saying that to impress you guys. I'm saying that my mom deserved that. And she's like, "Oh my God, Mio, I can't wait to take my next one." And she's just so excited to go and travel with me. And so it's like, how can I create more of that for her? Because that's what means the most to her right now when she's feeling sick, when she's in the hospital. So travel this year versus someday I will. And now versus procrastination. Stop putting things off. Stop saying you're going to work on your system. Stop saying you're going to post the video. Stop saying you're going to do this or do that. Like, how many times are you telling yourself that I'm going to wait and I'm going to procrastinate? And then you continuously procrastinate, and then you stack it up. You got fucking 60 days worth of procrastination shit that you could have done, should have done, and you would have put your business in a different position. So I want you to focus on doing things now versus procrastinating. Do it now. Can I get this done right now in the next 48 hours and move past it? Because what happens is that we get stuck in indecision. We get stuck in indecision and we don't move forward because we procrastinate. And I promise you, every single person on this call has procrastinated at least on one thing in 2023. And if you're procrastinating too long on it, probably it's important. If it's not that important for you guys to take action, maybe just remove that from your list entirely. Internal happiness versus external happiness. I think as I have become more aware, I'm 44 years old, I realized that my happiness is not derived from anything externally. Now, those things bring me pleasure and those things bring me joy, but every single thing that makes me happy is within. And that's all that I truly, truly need. And this is why that self-work is so important. That's why you reading, developing your skills, spending time alone, working out, looking in the mirror, like, damn, I feel good. I look good. Like, that starts with you. If you're going to be the best top producer in the game, if you're going to be the best husband, the best wife, the best parent, the best lover, whoever you are, how the fuck can you be the best for everybody else when inside you're dying, when inside you're not good, when inside you don't feel well? Right? So the internal happiness versus the external happiness. I love the things in my environment and I love the people in my environment, but first and foremost, I got to be happy with myself. So internal happiness versus external happiness. And last but not least, you guys, speak to add value versus speak to be heard. And the president of Coldwell Banker said this to me 7 years ago prior to a presentation that I was going to do. And he said, speak to add value, not to be heard. So many times we want to be heard because there's vanity in being heard. But at the end of the day, is what you are sharing something of value. So before you hit any stages this year, before you host any events, before you get on the mic and speak at group coaching, before you go into your networking groups, BNI, whatever groups you're a part of, speak to add value versus speaking to be heard. And I promise you, just allowing yourself to be reminded of that, it puts you in a completely different state. Anytime I do a presentation anywhere in the world, I tell myself this before I hit the stage, and it's been super, super important. So before we get into market conditions, market update, I have some slides. Oh shit, I have one more, sorry. Alignment versus winging it. Over the course of the last 6 months, we've talked a lot about alignment, walking in your purpose, knowing your why, your cause, your crusade, all those things that make everything that we're doing have a purpose because I'm in direct alignment versus just winging it and trying to figure it out. Right? If you don't know your cause, your crusade, your purpose, then it's time for you to sit down and do some writing, do some reflecting, talk to your family, talk to your friends, and really get in direct alignment. Because when you're in direct alignment, you're no longer doing this haphazardly, you're no longer winging it. And what happens is that you remove these excuses, doubt, trepidation, because I am aligned with something that is way bigger than right now. So alignment versus winging it. Now, before we get into the next portion of the slides, when we talk about the ins and outs, does this bring anything to mind for you guys? Do you guys have ins and outs that you're currently thinking about and you're going to replace with something else as you step into this new year? Do you have your own list of ins and outs? Do you have things that you're going to be doing differently versus the way that you've done it in the prior months, years, so on and so forth? Does anybody want to share their iteration of their ins and outs? Because I promise you this, that right there will be a video by the end of the day today. Does anyone want to share theirs? Does anyone want to give an example? Does this hit for anybody? Are you guys with me on this conversation? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get some emotion? Can I get something? Love you. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, cool. So I see some thumbs up. Here's what I want to do. I want to challenge you guys then. If you don't have it now, allow yourself to spend some time and do the ins and outs. What you can do is you can do a cool carousel post about this on social media. Carousels are trending right now. You're going to see the rebirth of still images on Instagram. Now, do not be the person that's just putting just sold, just listening, coming soon. And I'm not talking about those types of still images. I'm talking about you, your family, ins and outs, carousels of thoughts, tracks, growth mindset, all these things. You're going to see a huge influx of that. So here's what I want to challenge everybody to do. As you're starting out the new year, I want you to write down some of your ins and outs, right? Maybe it was overthinking and now I'm going to take massive action. Maybe it was I'm camera shy and now my in is, or I'm going to be out with I'm camera shy. I'm going to get in with, you know what? I just have to start somewhere. You guys, if you reflect on this, it allowed me to write. And I was like, God, there's so many things that I want to really focus on differently in 2024. So before we go on, before we talk about the market, anybody want to share their thoughts, sentiment, contributions, anything on the topic thus far? No, I've seen some people writing. I saw some people involved in the conversation. I'm going to go.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna make a video on this today. It's a really good thought to expand on for social media. So I just wanted to add that part since nobody else is saying shit.
It's all good. Hey, listen, more people are here with their cameras on today, so it's all right. People are thinking we're introspective. I get it. Blessing. What's good? What's your contribution? Blessing going once. Blessing going twice. There she is.
Hey
there
guys,
she is.
good morning. Good morning. I posted about this a couple of days ago, and it made me realize that my thing that's got to go is overthinking. So that was again needing to speak up. Don't hesitate. Don't procrastinate. Just get it done. The carousels are actually a great way to put your thoughts out, and I've been seeing so many more people and accounts that I follow put out carousels. Gary Vee's got a great model about a carousel post that leads to a video. So it's just another strategy to create engagement. But if you want to do it, do it. There's no moment like now. So I love it.
Love it. Love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. After I saw you shaking your head, let's hear from contributions from you. Lisa Torres, let's hear from you. Jessica, thank you for being here. I know that you're sick. I know that you're down. I know you got a fever, but you're still here. Ashley, let's hear from you, and let's hear from Lisa, and then we'll continue cruising on.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm shaking my head because I'm finishing up 10x is easier than 2x. And the more and more I get into this book, the more I'm realizing that I need to let go of so much busy work that I've had this year and give it to the right people on my team and then focus on my genius zone, the things that I'm really good at, and I'm going to be able to 10x a lot easier. So I'm quiet because I'm still building the pieces of that puzzle and exactly what it looks like, but I am really putting some thought into how that's going to go and what activities I'm going to primarily focus on and which activities I'm not. I'm going to give to people who are better at them than I am.
You guys, if you haven't read the book, read the book, listen to the book. If you're reading the book, the chapters are long. I think there's only, 7 chapters, but the chapters are super, super long. But the cool thing about the book is that at the end of every chapter, it does a chapter highlight, key takeaways from this chapter. So it's a good reference. So when you want to go back, like, I got some things on my mind. Let me go back to chapter 4. That book is absolutely incredible. I was able to finish it, and I want to highly encourage you guys to dive into that book, do the work, because it is absolutely powerful. If I could rank all the books over the last couple of years, I think it's probably in the top 3 of books that I've read, and that's second to Winning. And that's a really, really powerful book. So highly, highly recommend that. Let's go to Lisa Torres. It's called 10X is Easier Than 2X. Lisa Torres, let's hear your thoughts and sentiment, and let's give her a giant round of applause. She just got in a contract for her first time as a fast agent last night. So let's hear from you, Lisa.
Thanks, Elias. Yeah, no, I really, really have taken a lot away from the 10X book. And on New Year's Eve, I was writing out my intentions. And so I really love the word alignment, because I feel like right now I just really want to align with the pillars in my business, and focusing on certain things so that I can do like more of the traveling and things that I've been putting off for a while, and hitting more of my goals so I can do the traveling. So right now, my the way I've scheduled it out is the first 6 months, I'm just grinding pretty hard. And then hopefully starting summer through the end of the year, I can start taking those vacations. So thank you.
That's right, you guys. For me to be able to take my mom on a dope vacation, that's all I want. And it really kind of scared me. And it scared me because my mom's born in 1961. I don't know how old she is. You guys do the math. But it scared me because I don't know how much longer I have with my mom. And like hearing her, she's like, she can't really breathe on the phone, and she's hooked to oxygen. It really, really scared me. And so you guys, I'm always tell you that I'm a mama's boy. And it's like, how can I create such a year to where if I want to take a month off and go travel with my mom, then so be it. And the business still runs itself. So I appreciate your contributions. Thank you, Ashley and Maria. I would love to hear from you, thoughts, sentiment before we get into the market. I got some stuff lined up for you guys.
Is that a request right now?
That is.
Well, your mom is 62 because I just turned 60. So I know the man.
Well, happy freaking birthday.
It was epic. It was freaking epic. So here's the deal. For me in 2024. Ooh, I'm getting a feedback. Are you guys getting feedback? Oh, that's weird. Okay,
I'm not getting the feedback.
Oh,
you guys
interesting.
getting
It's in
feedback?
my ear. Okay, perfect. So for me in 2024, what I realized is number one, I think more so because of my age, I don't have time to waste. So here's the deal. People that I align myself with, people that are in my circle, they're chosen. I'm not just going to be hanging out with anybody. I'm not just going to be doing anything just because. You had made a mention earlier about something about just they're time wasters is basically what it is. And I always say to myself, the time ahead of me is shorter than the time behind me. For real. And so it's really important for me and for all of us that are on the call to really choose wisely, because people will suck the energy out of you just because you have energy to give. But not everybody, how would I want to put this? Not everybody is deserving of your energy. And so I'm going to be very much energy conscious going forward. I had 11 beautiful souls with me at my spa day on my birthday. And I told each and every one of them, they were chosen to be there. There were more people that could have been there, but they were chosen because they impact my life in such a way. And then I had 4 or 5 more women after the fact for lunch. So we're talking 15 women. That's my tribe. Those are the women that I'm going to be okay with sharing my energy with. And that includes family. So don't get it twisted. I mean, family will suck you dry more so than anybody else. And You know what I mean? And my brother, unfortunately, is on hospice. Now he's, 22 years older than me, and I was reflecting on, 6 months ago, he left me a message and how things can change in 6 months. He was fine. He was like, I'm as healthy as a horse. Okay. Not even 6 months later, dementia kicked in. And he, unfortunately, he's a product of the Vietnam War. So we don't know what happened over there in terms of, exposure. But again, it makes me realize our time is limited on this earth, and we need to be extremely choosy and picky with who we surround ourselves with. Get into the room where people are making, the money that you want to make, but don't be a butt kisser. You know what I mean?
You know what? Love and light, and support to you and the family. But I think it's really, really important message that we are the company that we keep. Our parents told us this when we were kids, but when you think about how you're developing in this business, like, are you putting yourself in those big rooms? Like, I put myself in some rooms that were like, man, I should I even be here? No, that's why I'm here. that's why I'm here. And the fact that you know what type of people you want to hang out with, that's you building a community. And like, I would personally, if I was you, I'd put together this powerful woman community and be very selective with the people that can even join that community and start building off of that and start creating your Facebook group, because there's a huge opportunity for you to be like, hey, if you're this type of person, you would probably align really well with this. Life, business, health, relationship, real estate, downline, all those things, they kind of speak to each other. So love it, Maria. Nicole Penland, you had your hand up. Let's go to you, and then we're going to get right into some slides about the market. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I just wanted to piggyback on what Maria was saying, because that lesson was definitely taught to me over 2023. And also and being influential, as well as aligning the journey that you're going through with the lesson that you have to teach. Some of you all know I have several licenses. And while I was in the hospital, I had a lot of time to think about how to align my message with the purpose of using insurance as well as real estate to protect your family. Because you never know when something will blindside.
Mm. You know what, Nicole, we've all gained strength from you, and I just appreciate you being here. But I think that's a good reflection too. It's like, if you don't have a life insurance policy set up right now, I literally have two for myself, for Silas. I could draw from it if I needed to, if we ever got into like dire straits. But I know it's morbid to even think, but you got to do those things. You got to do that. You got to have a plan for your family. And so, Nicole, I really appreciate you
with
saying
using it as mortgage protection, because like, if you make such a large investment to purchase a home, sometimes, when you purchase a home, you're needing those two incomes in order to make it happen. So if something just pops up and happens to one of you, you need to make sure that you have things in place to make sure your family can keep that home as well.
Mm. Yeah, God, I appreciate that reminder, and thank you for all of your strength this past year, and the fact that you're here and you're showing up, battling what you're battling. It's just a true testament of who you are as a person. So let's keep cruising on, you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let's get right into some market conditions, what's happening in the market. Every single time we do these on Wednesdays, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to provide you some clips and some articles and things that I'm reading. Once again, we've talked about this before, but you need to be spending a minimum of 30 minutes every single morning reading about the market. I cannot tell you how many times I do coaching calls and people tell me, well, I don't know how to understand the market or where to go. You guys, there is a ton of places for you to go, but it's one thing just reading it. You have to write it out, and you have to say, how do I decipher this information? Because if you were to stand on a panel right now, being the professionals that you are, being the people that you are, being on Spotlight, and someone said, hey, Maria, hey, Vernon, hey, Lisa, hey, Carlos, hey, Otis, hey, Jeff, hey, Rakitha, we want you to come in and do a quick demonstration or a talk about your predictions about the real estate market for 2024. Are you in? I would expect for each of you to be like, oh, heck yeah, I'm down for that. Let's go. So that's why the reading in the morning is so important. So there's a couple of articles that came out over the course of the last couple of days, and I want to share with you guys. If you're not signed up for real estate news, make sure that you sign up for real estate news. And what higher sales numbers could mean for the year ahead, you're going to see a couple different iterations of articles over the last couple days. And what you're seeing is that predictions state that interest rates will go up, or go down, obviously. Some people are saying low fives, mid fives. Some people are saying they're not going to go as low as what others are saying. People are saying that the predictions for year over year sales is going to be about 13%. Another article said 11%, and another article said 5%. So it's up to you to take the information and say, how can I create some cliff notes from this? How can I create some urgency? And so I want to give you guys some quick examples. It says here, key points. After a difficult year, real estate agents could see more sales activity in January compared to 2023. I believe this. I believe that we're on the cusp of something great. We know, and our lending partners can talk about that, that interest rates are going to go down over the course of the next year. Now, exactly where they land, we don't know what that number is exactly. But what we do know is that people that bought homes in the last couple months and buy homes in the first couple months of the year, I promise you this. And you guys, you can hold me to this. By the end of the year, those people are going to be sitting on a very, very healthy amount of equity because they got in before the frenzy happened, because interest rates went down. I promise you, they're going to be like, oh my God, I'm so glad that we bought in December of 2023. I promise you guys, that's what's going to happen. So you have to look at this. This article is really good. I'm going to provide all the links for you guys. A steady rise in mortgage application in conjunction with falling mortgage rates points to more buyer interest, although inventory will likely remain low. Here's what I want everyone to do on the call. I want you guys to go into your Real Scout and into your follow-up boss. And I want you to look at all the consumers that have viewed a house in the last 72 hours and check your last communication. What I want you to do is I want you to close that gap with communication and last activity looking for homes. Because what I'm finding, I'm looking through every single lead on our database. There's so many people shopping right now, but our communication is longer from the last time we shopped or the last time we talked with them. Highly, highly recommend that you dive into your database. A new tone for 2024. Rise in sales in January would support forecasts for several economists who expect to see a rebound in home sales in 2024. The NAR chief economist says that forecasting may jump to around 13% in existing homes compared to 2023. Now, like I said, you're going to see different iterations, different articles. It's your responsibility just to read the information and say, how can I put this into a messaging to a consumer? Home sales will bounce back in 2024, NAR says. The association held an annual review or annual summit in December, featuring a panel housing market economists. The expectation is for mortgage rates to fall in 2024. We know that, spurring more demand. There's a few more articles that I put here for you, and I'll just share those with you. There's 24 trends for 2024, a year of hunkering down. What I thought was cool about this is it really talked about what is needed from a consumer right now versus what they truly, truly want. And I think that you're going to find more and more of these consumers just being okay with not having the fanciest house. Maybe there's some sweat equity that needs to get put into the house. Maybe there's some additional work that needs to be put into the house. But what we find is that more people are apt to getting something that they actually need versus something that they want. And I thought this was really, really cool. It says here, market dynamics, the tempered splurging. Indulgent purchasers dwindle as pandemic savings shrink, student loans resume, and post-pandemic catch-up spending concludes. It says here that, where is it? Oh, consumers, sorry, let me go back to this. Consumers choose to break up projects into smaller parts instead of taking on large projects all at once. And this was cool. I thought this was great to read. Monthly payment reduction. What you're finding is that that your buyers are looking for ways to creatively bring down their interest rates. And obviously we know 2-1 buy downs, we know those things, but when it says here, number 4, ADUs, beyond multi-generational. Instead of focusing on multi-generational opportunities, more builders are offering the option to create a rental suite or ADU as a part of a new home. You guys, there's so many new builds out there right now, and as you're touring with consumers, so many of them want a traditional house that was built, turn of the century here in the Bay Area, but you guys should be taking them to the new builds that have the next gen units, or already have an ADU, or have the detached garage that can be converted into an ADU, because they need to be looking at the potential income opportunities that they can make from that and get really, really smart with how they're building their wealth moving forward. So there's a few articles that I want to share with you guys, and let me stop this. Let me admit Kenny. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share these articles with you guys, and I'll put it down here in the chat. That way you guys can do your homework. But let me turn the mic over to you guys. Our lending partners are on. We have people on the screen that are very, very conscious about what they're reading, how they're reading. What are you guys seeing? What are your predictions? What are you hearing? And what's something that you guys would want to share with the team? I'll go to you, Ashley, and Jeff first, and you guys start it out, and then we'll hear from you guys. What are you seeing? What are the predictions? And what are some good articles that you've read as of late?
Good morning. So the JOLTS report came out, and I always say it, but I feel like I always need to say it. I hate rooting for job losses, but that's the side of the economy we're on if we want interest rates to go down. And they did come in positive today. They're reported 8.85 million jobs, which was a decline. It declined to 8.79 million. So that was positive for interest rates, that report this morning. There was also a news article that went viral from one of the Fed members that basically was more hawkish, which means he said, well, I know there's all this talk out there about interest rates going down, but it's going to depend on these reports that are coming out. And so that put the market in the opposite direction this morning. But what we're really looking forward to is later this afternoon, we have the Fed minutes coming out from the last Fed meeting. And if you remember, they were much more dovish in that meeting, meaning they were saying the dot plot came out saying that they plan to cut 3 times. So if those Fed minutes come out and there's anything surprising either way later this afternoon around 2 o'clock, the market, that's really going to set the tone for the market. But I'm hoping those Fed minutes open up a lot more dovish talk, which will keep the market going on the pace that it's expected to in the right direction.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. So Jeff, let's hear from you. Kind of predictions, thoughts, updates, articles that you've read as of late. Kind of give us your State of the Union address.
Couple points. One, on the real estate side, kind of piggyback on what you were saying in some of the articles. There's this article out there. It's called the Silver Tsunami. I don't know if you guys have seen that or heard of this phenomenon, but 10,000 people a day are turning 65. So it's that kind of, we've heard about that transfer of wealth. This is not necessarily a transfer of wealth. This is people changing their living situations, or it's going, they're predicting that they're changing their living situations, downsizing, moving to where the grandkids are, moving closer. So more homes coming onto the market. And they, a lot of the analysts out there, this particular article is predicting that this is going to affect the housing market in 2024. So that could be an opportunity that's out there as more homes come onto the market because people are changing their lifestyles. Of course, as people age and heirs have to sell the home, or if they're downsizing, moving into other communities. So that's one thing that I thought was kind of interesting for 2024. Another thing is kind of piggybacking on what Ashley was talking about. We've seen the market just kind of go flat this last 3 to 4 weeks. After the Fed meeting in the middle of December, Jerome Powell's press conference where he talked about rate cuts, it's kind of traded sideways. And as those comments get older, as that meeting is, farther and farther away from that meeting, we're starting to see rates trend back up. Again, nothing moves in a straight line. So to your point, Elias, about people buying now, again, and this, it might sound self-serving coming from a lender or a real estate agent, but right now is honestly the best time to buy as it's kind of trading sideways, because as we get deeper into this, we're going to see rates go down. They're going to go down. Now, how quickly and how much, we don't know that. So it is right now one of the best times to buy, and the off season, there's not as many buyers in there just because it's January. So to that point, in terms of rates, we have a huge report tomorrow, and really the big one on Friday, jobs reports. Again, we don't want to We're not wishing for people to lose their jobs by any stretch. But what the Fed has been doing over the last year to 2 years and trying to bring down inflation, the biggest component of that is people pulling back because they don't have as much money. Maybe that it's a little bit harder to find a job. They're not feeling as secure in their situation, so they're not spending as much, which brings down inflation. So as we see that jobs number disappoint, we'll see continued progress towards that inflation target and lower rates. So, lots of opportunities in 24, and excited about what's going to happen, and, just continue to stay abreast of the market, different opportunities that are out there, and, be on this call, especially every Wednesday, and we'll, try and give you as much information as we can. So, look for that jobs report on Friday, get in touch with your lending partner, or look for resources out there that you can rely on to kind of see where things are, what happens on Friday with that jobs report.
I love it. And I know Ashley, and I don't know if so much for you, Jeff, but I know Ashley is available to hop on calls with you guys if you want to get some education about the market. But if you have a consumer and you're doing a buyer's consultation via Zoom, it's perfect to bring a third person in, like a lender, because let's just think about it. And we obviously know that there's cycles in this business, but what's going to happen is that you're going to see an influx of homes go on the market in January, right? You're just going to see that. We waited, now we're ready. Interest rates have kind of, we've become accustomed to where they're at. So what's going to happen is that springtime is going to start to kick up, and then summertime, I predict that summertime we're going to crush it in the summer. But what's going to happen is you're going to have so many more people. You're going to have so many more multiple offers. You're going to be having people bid those prices up and up and up. So that's what I say. Somebody that bought in December, January, February, when they look back in December, they're going to be like, oh my God, look at what we were able to create. If interest rates go down to 5.75, 5.5, there is going to be so many more people flooding this market and driving prices up, that the people that bought in December, people bought in October, people that bought in early in the year in August, that were sitting at a 7.75, man, those people are sitting on a very, very handsome amount of equity. So you guys, let's get ahead of this. Let's make sure that we're having those conversations. When people say that they want to wait, now, mind you, I understand and respect people's situations and their circumstances, but oftentimes they just need more education in order for them to realize that waiting does not serve their ultimate goal of building wealth for their family. It doesn't. If it makes sense for them and they can afford it, then you have to show them the disadvantages of waiting. And that's our responsibility. It's not our job for them to decipher all the information that we read. It's our job to interpret that to them, right? Patrick, let me share with you the disadvantages of you and the family waiting for the next 3 months and what the predictions are for our real estate market here in the Bay Area. They're looking at you as the experts to be that expert. So Ashley, Jeff, I appreciate that. Let's actually go to Patrick. Patrick, you've had an amazing, first year. When you think about predictions and conversations that you're having with your consumers right now, what are some things that you're talking to your consumers about, and what are they hearing from you? Let's go right over to you.
Yeah, no, for sure. So like we talked about, there are, I think 3 more cuts that are, we're waiting on until summer hits or whenever the timeline is. So the conversations that I'm having right now with the people I'm working with is, like you said, giving them that reality. Like, all right, right now it's a bit scary. We don't know where we're going. Obviously, no one does. But scenario 1, we follow through with our plan right now, no competition. We have, have time to check out actual properties you want, versus when it does go down, then, giving that to rally, like you're gonna have to have a bidding war. Instead of having a $700,000 purchase price, it's gonna be about 780, 810. So giving them concrete numbers, I feel like is really helping with my situation. Right now I'm working with 3 people that were trying to wait until mid 2024, but it's up to us because we are the experts. We are watching the market, right? They don't know anything better. They're watching, social media stuff and the scare tactics. So it's important for us to reel them back into the vision, right? So
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. And share with them the reality. Ophelia, you've been at this for 17 plus years. You had your best year in real estate ever. So most of your business came from Sphere. It wasn't online leads. It wasn't PPC leads. This was Sphere. So obviously your people trust you. So I'm sure you're getting the objections. We want to wait, no way, no how, interest rates. Like, What is the conversation that you're having with your consumers that's helping them say, you know what, it is a better time because you had the best year that you've ever had. So I'm sure there's some distinct things that you've been saying and doing.
It's just completely being confident when you talk. Confidence, it's a big deal. You need to have facts. And so one thing I do is I partner up with my loan officers as well, because my loan officer has a tool and an Excel spreadsheet or something you just start plugging in, and those numbers don't lie. Those numbers speak so much volume. So I do my very, very best to at least try to do justice when my loan officer explains it to me and explain it to them in my own spreadsheet, or have them in a combo Zoom, as you were just suggesting. The other is the sentiment that I do provide articles like what you have just said and say, look, guys, I'm not saying it. It's out there as well. Now you have to be careful when there's so much noise. Who can you really trust? These are my trusted sources. So I'm not saying it. It's them saying it. And now I'm interpreting it to you. If you wait, this is what's going to happen. And I'm also not here to sell you on anything. I'm here to give you information. You make that decision. But I'll tell you this, my past clients took my advice and they're sitting very pretty right now, waiting for those rates to come down. So all they have to do is, not even them, the loan officer is going to call them because they already have them on a ticker. I don't know why I said ticker, whatever. They're already like on a notice that once the rates drop to a certain number, they're going to get a phone call and they don't have to do anything about it. Just sit and wait.
God, I love it. I love it. Let's go to Ramel. Ramel, let me hear from you, big dog. What are you hearing? What are you talking with your consumers about? And how are you getting in front of what your predictions are for 2024? Because that conversation is coming up. If it hasn't, it will.
Yeah, so I've been going back and touching base with buyers who had decided to wait and just updating them on both kind of starting off with positivity. Okay, you had some financial issues that you wanted to kind of deal with beforehand, and now the interest rates are starting to drop. Here's some of the advantages of that, and here's some challenges that we're going to face looking forward and trying to find your house. So let's strategize. Let's still stay within your budget, but let's not spend a lot of time waiting. So I haven't gotten any fruit from that yet, but I've just been touching base and sharing with them the pros and cons of what you do when you wait versus getting in right now and start building equity in your home and let the market do what it's going to do, because it's dynamic, it's going to change, but you need to plant yourself into a home right now.
Beautiful. Love it. Anna Pacheco, would love to hear from you. Anna Pacheco has been a veteran in the business, had another, I want to say over 20 homes sold in 2023, but Anna, I mean, you don't seem to be affected by the market. Your business continues to grow. You continue to vacation. So I want to hear from you. What are some things, what's the conversation that you're having with your consumers right now?
I think the biggest thing, sorry, I was on my treadmill.
Okay, a lot of people are this morning.
Sorry. But a lot of the, you know what, I haven't stopped talking to my clients, even the ones that have been nervous. I still check in on them. And I think that eventually they've kind of like realized things are not changing. A lot of my conversations in my area have been more around affordability and needs versus wants, because everybody wants the bigger house, the bigger mortgage. And that has been my biggest conversation with them. And then showing them, okay, what happened? Great example, what happened 2021 and market went high, rates were low, but you're paying more money. Right now, you have the opportunity of refinancing. And that's really just worked for me. And all of it has been from, you know, my sphere. People are still looking to buy, and then just staying in my lane, honestly, like shutting off the noise and staying in my lane and just staying at it. And that's really worked.
I love it. And you guys, and what's really worked, she's super humble, always will be. What worked is 24 homes sold by the end of the year, still 2 pending, and in an area where her price points are lower, still sold over $10 million in real estate volume, and 9 of those homes were listings. So it's working for her at a very big scale. And this is not just her best. She continuously is having these years, year after year after year. And so, Anna, it's amazing to see.
And I do want to point out, like, it was actually one of my lowest transaction years. My volume was up. For like what I typically do, was one of my lowest transaction years, but I still kept going because all I heard was, from some of my friends that have been in the business for years, they were freaking out, like, our numbers are down, or this is down. And I was just like, just keep on going, because if not, then I'll end up there.
So let me ask you this, as we do I'll do a little math. Was this your average sales price? Was this your highest average sales price year?
No.
It wasn't? Okay. But still you had an increase in volume year over year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the best way to get a raise. And how many times did you vacation in 2023?
Many too many.
No, it's not too many, because like I said, like you're not saying, oh, I will someday. You're going.
Yeah, that's my reward. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did end up canceling my last vacation. Like, it was too much and too much at one.
So where did you go in 2023? Inspire us all. Where'd you go?
Let's see. I went to Hawaii. I went to Mexico twice, and I canceled my trip to Thailand.
I mean, still, hopefully that you have that rescheduled for this year. But nonetheless, she still had an amazing year, still had a higher volume year than year prior, still had some time for herself to reflect, and made a choice not to go on that last vacation. So I love it. Congratulations to you. But you guys, great stuff today. Great contributions from the way that we started out the session to the market updates. I want to go to 3 people. I want to get some key takeaways from our time together today. Let's go over to Ro, Sierra. Hear from you guys, and I'll choose one other person. Ro, key takeaways from our time together today. Let's hear from you. You're muted. All right, we'll come back to Ro. We'll go to Sierra. Sierra, let's hear from you. Key takeaways from our time together today while Ro finds the unmute button.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say that I really loved the idea of amplify your life in every single way. I definitely am focusing on the things that are important and bringing them up, making sure that I'm focused on those things and giving it all when I'm there. Being super present.
Yes, I love it. Absolutely. I love it. So let's go back over to Ro. Ro, did you find your mute button? No? All right. It's all good. Let's go. We have a guest on the line today, Amanda Foster. Amanda Foster, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here at Keep It Moving Group Coaching. Tell me one key takeaway from our time together today. Take yourself off of mute and let's hear from you.
I think for me is that, I've been a teacher for 16 years. And I've been really wanting to invest in learning how to make money in a good way. And I'm a very big people person. And I feel like real estate is definitely a big thing for me to help out with people for sure. And it's just, since I've been taking classes, the way that, learning the marketing has been really interesting. My father is having a building being sold, and learning what he's been doing to try to sell the market. He's been on this building on the market for about 3 years. And when I learned about the market this year, I said, look, you can't just wait anymore. You got to sell the building this year, especially in January. So he listened to my words, and he's going to put the market up in January. So it's like learning all about it through an actual experience has really me understanding how market is and how real estate is. And it's been a great experience, and it's been really helping me be encouraged and being pushing forward to really understanding getting my real estate license. So it's been really helpful on hand-on experience for sure.
I love it. And Amanda, how do we meet you?
I learned, for me, it was from, I think, Kelly or somebody else. I can't remember, but I'm just
Awesome.
fresh out of being a teacher and just learning how to do real estate. So hopefully I'll be able to get some clients, find a group, find some brokerage, and learn some good stuff.
Well, glad that you're here. Hopefully you are come back and wishing you all the success moving forward, and you have a community in us. Let's close this out. Vernon, key takeaways from our time together today. Happy New Year once again to everybody. Let's go ahead and have you close out the session. Vernon, key takeaways from our time together.
Happy New Year, everyone. It's always an amazing experience to sit in the collective wisdom. I have one word that I will repeat that is my key takeaway, and that is amplify. I want to encourage you to amplify. anything that you're doing. And amplify does not necessarily always mean more. It means better. Okay, so let's focus on amplification of quality as opposed to quantity. That's what I've got. So we step into the new year operating from the word amplify in the context of quality over quantity. And let's just see what happens when we get to the end of the year discussion.
That's right. That's right, big dog. You guys listen, that's my word, that's my sentiment, and that's my cause for this year is amplify. And I could not agree more with Vernon. It doesn't mean more, it means better, and it means quality over quantity. And so I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you for being on for our first session of Keep It Moving for 2024. Looking forward to going full tilt with each of you guys. If you need help, if you need support, if you need some one-on-one time with me, get on my calendar and let's focus on the areas where you need focus. But you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for all your contributions. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and go out there and crush your week. Peace.
Peace.